Okay, so hello everyone. Today is Saturday, September the 10th, right? No, Saturday, September the 9th. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Saturday, September the 9th. And we are continuing in our study of healing with the chakras. And Harriott, would you like to take it away?
I will. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Before we get started, let us take in a full, deep, cleansing breath. And as we exhale, let go of all of the stresses and negativities and problems that we might have lingering in the background. Just let them go. And as we begin this session today, open our hearts and our minds to everything that is being said by all that are participating, and the knowledge and understanding that we gain as we go through this information. We find the wisdom to use it for the benefit of all that we encounter. And with that, I say, and so it is. Okay, everybody, as was mentioned, we are looking at the third eye chakra today. And the Sanskrit name for that is Anya. Carolyn Miss, who was perhaps the one that really got me interested in looking closer at the chakras because of the healing effect on the body, mind, and spirit. And she calls this the seat of intuition. It's the third eye. And she labels it the power of the mind. And it's the chakra of wisdom, where mental and reasoning abilities are used to evaluate beliefs and attitudes. And we examine our thoughts and consider, are they strengthening or illusionary and fearful? We know, what we believe to be true. They are the mental and emotional connections that we have, energy connections that we have with the third eye. And in studying or in reading the material in her book, Caroline Miss discovered that the 7 sacraments of Christianity and the 7 levels of the tree of law of knowledge, or the Kabbalah, there are connections there. They parallel the 7 main chakras that are part of this living body, or this physical body, shall we say. And the third eye, or the third eye in the Sephiro, or the tree of knowledge, or Kabbalah, is understanding. And that's what the third eye does give us, that understanding, a deeper understanding. And in Christianity, it's wisdom, and it's considered in Christianity, the sacrament associated with the third eye is ordination. And I found that a little confusing when I first saw it, but once you get into, and I will not be doing that today, perhaps in a later one, get more into explaining how ordination in Christianity and the third eye are related. But she gives a very good explanation, and after reading her explanation, I was able quite extensive. That's why I'm not going into it today. Well, some of the primary fears that are
Are you saying ordination or coordination?
Ordination,
Ordination. Okay.
that ceremony that
Right.
yeah, okay, yeah, you got it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the primary fears associated with the third eye, she sees, is our unwillingness to look within and dig out the truth. We're fearful of the truth, judgment. We were just talking about that, and the whole idea that we have to be perfect in everything we do, and that's not necessary. I mean, perfection is how we each individually do things, and it is to our satisfaction, and to us, that is perfection. What's my perfection is not necessarily your perfection, basically what she's saying here. Also, fear of judgment, fear of discipline, and sometimes afraid to look at the dark side of who we are, and that really needs to be faced from time to time, because a lot of times that is what causes our dis-eases. The Sanskrit name for Anya, or the third eye, or Anya, means summoning, command, authority, and unlimited power. The third eye is located in the center of the forehead, between the eyebrows, and at the very top of the spine. And it's the seat of vision and perception. The color most often associated with the third eye is indigo. Now, that third eye development and maturation, as far as the activation of that is concerned, it varies depending on who you listen to. Some believe it develops between the ages of 8 and 14. But the Hindu, who are the ones that, I'm not sure the right word to use here, but it is a part of their rituals. And it is from the Hindu that we get the knowledge of these 7 chakras, the chakras rather. And with them, they say that it comes into full maturation between the ages of 35 and 42. And interestingly, one of my sources, April Fender, and she spelled that Pfender, in her book, The Complete Guide to the Chakras, she kind of says that children born after 2012 are just naturally spiritually open, awake, and aware. And I found that rather interesting. So the coming generation, those that are coming into maturation right now, well, in another, I would say 10 years maybe, I think we're going to be seeing a whole different, if what she said is in fact truth. I think we're going to see a whole different world, and not the turmoil that we're seeing today. And I think, they talk about the storm before the calm. I think that's what we're going through right now, as far as our society is concerned. Any comments or questions?
Well, I'm just interested in, the last author you were speaking of, Fender. How did they, come up with the calculation of 2012? Has anything to do with that Mayan calendar, or was it, is it something else that is in conjunction with it? What made 2012 the magic number?
I'm not sure, but I will look it up and let you know sometime between now and the end of our session.
Yeah, because I think that that's pretty interesting, especially because it
Yeah.
does so connect with another philosophy.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, I found it rather interesting. That's why I kind of included it, because maybe somebody, has their own thoughts and ideas about it, as you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and we are due for a reset. We are due
Exactly.
for a reset, yeah.
Exactly.
And even when you look back into, like biblical um analogies, that whole 40 years in the desert thing, that was all about that, that old crowd had to die out, that old consciousness. That
Right,
old level of
exactly.
consciousness had to
Yeah,
die out
yeah,
before,
including Moses.
yeah, before they could enter into a new level of consciousness.
Exactly. Exactly. I was just trying to find that information about the activation for you while you were talking.
One of the other things that, when we're talking about the placement of the third eye, I know a lot of people say that it is like part of the pineal gland, and that is, that is that kind of placement there.
Right.
And I know we had done a study long time ago about the pineal gland, but it's been a while and I really can't remember the details of it. So that would be kind of interesting to be able to see and understand how that area of the brain fits in to this level of consciousness.
Right. Well, I'll be getting to that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Almost.
I'm ahead of myself. Like I'm ahead.
Right, almost right away.
Look, it's usually you, now it's me.
That's okay. That's fine. Just makes my job that much easier. The body parts associated with the third eye are the brain, the neurological system, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the sinuses, and the hypothalamus. And the glands associated are the pituitary and the pineal, which you just mentioned. Yeah. The senses associated with the third eye was it Anya. I'm trying to get into the habit of using the Sanskrit names, but basically learning how to pronounce them more for my own benefit than anything else.
Yeah, that's I believe in that.
Yeah,
I think that's how we honor that that system.
exactly. The senses include insight, a sixth sense, because we talk about the five senses, and I have often heard people refer to that sixth sense, insight, extrasensory perception, intuition, clairvoyance, and psychic abilities. And of course, the active organ is the mind. Diseases and illnesses that we can attribute to an imbalance or out of alignment or misalignment of the third eye chakra. If you have vision problems, cataracts, glaucoma, blurred vision, poor eyesight, dyslexia. So I guess my third eye has been out of whack from birth, because I have been nearsighted all my life. Headaches, migraines, hearing problems, brain tumors, strokes, blood pressure issues, depression, nervous breakdowns, insomnia, dizziness, sinusitis, learning disabilities, deafness, nightmares, seizures, hormone imbalances, neuralgia, growth or development disorders. So if you have suffered with any of these things, it means that you have to work a little harder to get your third eye in line or balanced. Functions of the third eye. It perceives light, which helps to increase spiritual and intuitive awareness. It helps to regulate sleep and wake cycles. And it picks up on extrasensory information. We just talked about that, ESP, insight, sixth sense. It monitors the body's hunger, and I didn't realize this until I saw it as I was doing my research. It monitors the body's hunger, thirst, sex drive, and aging process. So if you can keep your third eye in contact, we can continue to, even though the calendar may count up the days and the years, as long as we keep that third eye open, clear, and balanced, we will always have a youthful perspective on life on this planet. The way I interpret it anyway. What about you, Penelope? And whoever else is on the call?
Yeah, I think that that's kind of interesting. And I also think that that's really what has happened to our senses over the years, because we have seen things like commercials, advertising, some subliminal messages that they have said that they outlawed, but who knows whether somebody's doing one or not. And that it comes in through our third eye that has so much to do with our manifestations and our ego, say the eating and sex drive. And what was it? You said food, sex drive.
Hunger, thirst, sex drive, and aging process.
Hunger, sex drive, and aging process. Yeah. So we have been told that, especially here in America, how the older we are, we can't look old. If you look old, then that means that you're decrepit. So no matter what's going on in your inside, as long as you look good on the outside, as long as you not look good but look young on the outside, that's the thing that where people will admire.
Exactly.
And we're tempted with food and sex, drink, and sex, constantly barraged and bombarded by it.
Yes, we are.
So
as far as advertisement is concerned.
Yes. And then, advertising is everywhere. Once upon a time, you could just find some things on a catalog, or, a certain time that the TV commercials would come on. But, now it's, they're like everywhere.
Exactly. So. And we have to program ourselves to kind of ignore those things that we feel might be detrimental to our well-being.
Yeah, and I think that and there's a frame of mind that yes, we should limit these things, and they should be legalized. I guess laws should be around to prevent them. But if the laws are still going to allow that same energy, but the same energy in that same area, but yet will kind of like make you feel guilty or feel bad or judge somebody else based on that. I think that that's where that conflict comes in, and that imbalance comes in, and we don't know how to it makes it hard to distinguish how are we supposed to monitor ourselves and our families, to keep us free from that type of predatory, I don't know what the word is, that that predate. Yeah.
And you just mentioned something, monitor. And when you said it, I'm sure you meant the younger members of our family monitor what they are exposed to. But no matter how careful we are or how diligent we are in monitoring what they are exposed to, once they leave the home, whether it's to go to school or to church or any place else, we have no control over what is being told to them.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how vulnerable they are or how strongly we have, how strong our message is, I should say, in conveying what we feel is right or wrong for our children to be exposed to, their curiosity is going to make them indulge in those, and especially if it's something we have told them that's a no-no.
Mm-hmm. And not just the children, grown folks too. Grown folks too.
I said children because they are more vulnerable. Grown folks do things, and to me, adults, I should say, if you consider yourself an adult, if you have a mature mind, you should know the difference
right there.
You should know the difference between right and wrong and be able to make a decision that will benefit you to the good, or make a good benefit to you rather than a devastating benefit or catastrophe, shall we say.
So it does, just keeping your third eye in balance, it is a challenging thing, because especially, first of all, you have to even know that it's happening to you.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
No,
you have to understand that, that what I take in is food for my mind, the same as whatever I'm eating is food for my body. So what is my diet? What is the diet of conversation that I have? What is the diet of
things you watch on television,
that I watch on television, or TikTok or anything else, and how does that, how can it help me progress in my own development?
Exactly.
And I think, and yes, and there is some individual responsibility, but there's some collective responsibility to go along with that as well.
Exactly. And that collective responsibility, I think, is determined by who you tend to keep company with on a regular basis. Because there are times when you, just as Jesus did, I mean, he kept company with all sorts because he had a message for them. He was criticized for it, but like he answered, I forget now exactly where it is, but he told somebody, I didn't come to rescue those that are saved. Well, I came to rescue the sick. And where are you going to find them? In a hospital. And that hospital could be anywhere. Really.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I think that, and that's why I think that, this is why it's important to understand different philosophies. Because here's this whole philosophy that is designed to tell us how to heal mind and body, how to put that in alignment with spirit, so that we can have that one unified consciousness. So and it fits in, just like you said, it fits in with the sacraments, it fits in with Kabbalah, it fits in with so many different other philosophies, that when we, when we, whatever one we choose to be on, if we, there is still some information that another philosophy has that we can glean information from.
Exactly. Yeah. Any other comment? Is Far still with us?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, when fully developed, we become a true seer. And my source, and I do believe again it was Fender, she uses the word seer and she spells it SEE-ER as opposed to SEER. She used it in both ways, of the fact that we are all a manifestation of one spirit, free to live simply within society, using our cognitive intelligence and mental abilities wisely. And you just said that. Anyone irritated with another person or aspect of their life, unable to see the truth, or refusing to change old patterns that are not working, or to look forward with joy, needs to begin to look at life through our higher consciousness, not the inadequacies we have been programmed with. And you just said that. You just said that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
How life is so complete. I think that's amazing. That life is so complete.
It is. And on the other hand, we shouldn't be amazed at that, because
I know, right?
because
life is so complete.
Exactly. But I agree, I agree wholeheartedly. The archetypes of the third eye is the mystic, in other words, the seeker, the dreamer, transmuting darkness into light, a visionary, a change maker, and the judge, the diplomatic advocate of neutrality, deciding on right and wrong actions based on omnipotent information. The judge helps to discern what is right and just. His opinions are based on a heart-conscious mindset and clear vision. The judge is able to see things as they are. And I might add, tell it like tis. The personality of the person with a balanced third eye, they're imaginative, they're intellectual, they're self-actualized, they're self-empowered. They have a positive relationship with their reality.
With their what?
With their reality.
Okay.
Comment?
No, I just didn't hear you.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Person with an underactive third eye chakra, or Anya, negativity, self-doubt. They're probably living in chaos, or their world is chaotic. They have difficulty visualizing things, difficulty in planning. They might suffer memory loss. They have perception issues. They don't have a lot of energy, and they're unable to see requirements that are needed for the change that they need to make. They can be easily deceived, and they are codependent. They are usually in a codependent or an abusive relationship. Person with an overactive third eye, they fantasize, daydream, they overthink things. They're not able to focus. They have difficulty concentrating. They're obsessive and delusional. Of course, if their third eye is balanced, they're able to see things as they are, and they trust that inner voice of reason. The sound of the third eye, the mantra, which we'll be getting into towards the end of this session, is Om. And how many times have you heard it? And that's almost like a universal vibration that puts everything into balance.
Mm-hmm.
The deities associated with, and this one I found very interesting, the deities associated with the third eye. The third eye has its own deity, and it's called Hakini, spelled Hakini. And when I went to look it up or to find out, that's exactly what I found. The Yokini goddess who presides in our third eye represents imagination, clarity, intuition, and inner knowing. No other explanation, no other association like the other gods and goddesses that are associated with the with the different chakras. For example, Vishnu is Hindu, and this I found interesting. Is the most important of the Holy Trinity within the Hindu philosophy. Vishnu is the preserver and protector of cosmic harmony, and is often blue in color. Ganesha, another Hindu god, the elephant god, remover of obstacles, destroyer of sorrow, clearing the path to enlightenment. Oh, I'm sorry. This next one, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, so I'm going to try. And if you want me to spell it, I will. Because it's a long one. Adhanarishvara. Adhanarishvara. Adhanarishvara.
Yeah.
A-D H-A-N-A-R I-S-H V-A-R-A. Very often when I look these things and I Google these things, they might lead me to a video that tells me how to pronounce it, but I couldn't find one for this one. And this is both masculine and feminine. So, and it says white. And I kind of have a feeling when I look, no, it's white on the right side, golden on the left side. The power of neutrality and balance. And I didn't indulge in a lot of detail on these because for the sake of time, and I just wanted to get the basics as far as each one of these is concerned. Saint Germain, an ascended master and guardian of the seventh ray and violent flames. Now he is one of those, how do I want to put it? He's a master, you know.
Saint Germain is supposed to be Jesus's father.
Oh, okay, all right. And see, I didn't know that. Thank you.
In some circles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in some circles.
Yeah. Pythia, a Greek goddess, and she's the high priestess of the temple of Apollo at Delphi. She's the oracle of Delphi, the channeled prophecy, ancestral wisdom, visions, and inner understanding. So definitely a part of that, ruler of that third eye. Circe, Greek goddess. She's a sorceress and a goddess of magic. And Hecate, I guess is how it's pronounced, Hecate, or Hecate, I'm not sure. And that's the Greek goddess of transformation, crossroads, life and death, past and future, goddess self and human self. So that's where that crossroads comes in. Any questions or comments on that?
No, I just think it's kind of interesting to when you see these things, and although I don't really know too much about Saint Germain, and I should. I'm sure I have looked up some information on him before, but I know I know he killed a dragon. That's pretty much as much as I know about him. And but it would be interesting.
Is he one of the saints from the Catholic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it would be interesting if just to look at these different figures as characters in history, find out who they are, and that might be another subject that we can always find something else, another deep dive, another
exactly. That's what I like about us.
But I think that those things are kind of important because first of all, they put it into kind of a little bit into perspective.
Exactly.
They take a lot. It takes a lot of myth out, or it puts myth in, or we can say, okay, well, this is a mythological idea, or okay, well, and I don't know whether Saint Germain was an actual person, because like I said, I can't remember, but it will give us like a time frame,
right?
Of and why is he included in this range of deity?
Right. Well, take in mind, I have several sources, several major sources that I turn to get this information, and basically looking for the continuity from one source to another. And sometimes when I go from one source to another, I get introduced to another aspect of so, and I just put them all in there because I hope at some point in time I'll be able to look a little bit deeper into each one of these things, depending on where I am and what I need to do or what I need at the time,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going. I said I'm just writing Saint Germain down because I hadn't heard of his. I hadn't thought about his name in a long time, and then I was looking at something else not too long ago, maybe about a month or so ago, and His name
His
popped
name
up again.
came
So I
up.
said, okay, so now he's back in my life again. So
It's telling you need to check him out.
yeah.
Yeah.
What does he want? Where is he? Why is he popping up?
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. The planets associated with the third eye is the moon and the planet Neptune. I didn't indulge into why these are considered the planet of the third eye, as far as looking deeper into why. But from my perspective, I can understand the moon because the moon, the stages that the moon goes through, and I think all told is somewhere between 6 and 9 from one new moon to the next, as it goes through each of the stages. I forget now what it is. I've seen it and I've paid attention to it recently, but I don't remember the exact number of each, the exact number of those changes that it goes through, and the names of them as well. But I can understand, because when we think about a full moon, we think about the loonies coming out. That's a phrase that is often used. And of course, the term lunar refers to the moon itself, really. So I can understand, why the moon would be considered a planet, or a member of the solar system that is associated with the third eye.
With the third eye.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, it all has to do with the mind and spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gemstones associated with the third eye: azurite, which facilitates psychic vision; blue aventurine, it heightens intuitive capacity and foretells what will be, improves the here and now, leading to the higher good; labradorite, new possibilities, ignite the imagination, kindle the inner fire, and intentions for new beginnings; lapis lazuli, confidence and self-esteem; sodalite, often referred to as the dream catcher, and is believed to prevent nightmares and night terrors; and tanzanite brings healing, reminds one of the past, improves the here and now, leading to higher good. And the next aspect is the tarot card associated with the third eye, or our intuitive, is, and I'm going to let you fill in this blank, because I didn't want to step on your area of expertise, because with mine it would be from an amateur's perspective and not from the expert's point of view. So if you will explain how the high priestess can be associated with the third eye, I would be very appreciative.
Yeah. I would think that not only the high priestess, but also the hermit as well.
Okay.
Because the hermit also seeks within. The thing that I do like about the high priestess is that high priestess is that first sense of division. There's a choice. You have the fool, then you have the magician, and then the
high priestess.
The high priestess comes in, and then now you have the two opposite poles.
Right, exactly, because she's the one that's sitting between the black and the white pole, right?
Yes.
I don't have my card.
Yeah. So with there, that's where your sense of wisdom and your sense of intuition comes in, because you have to be that balance between those two opposing forces. positivity. Go ahead.
Now, I was going to ask a question. Now, she is number 2 as far as the major arcane is concerned.
Yes.
What number is the Hermit?
The Hermit is okay. The Hermit is in some decks the Hermit is 11, and some decks the Hermit is 9. So it all counts to what your deck is.
Okay.
I think that most decks the Hermit is 11.
Okay. Now, see, that makes sense to me. Why? Because the High Priestess is 2. The Hermit is 11.
Yeah.
In numerology, if you add 1 and 1, what do you get?
You get 2.
So that's, and when you said the Hermit, that was the first thing that came to my mind. What number is he?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that and the Hermit does allow us to look within, to see, and he carries a light, so he's looking for all of the dark places.
Right.
He's looking for the things that are unrecognized or where we don't have either logic or reason. And then, but yet there's, with that, there's guidance. And both the High Priestess also gives guidance, because she guides us with that whole original concept of wisdom. There's like absolutely no dilution, in when we're seeing the High Priestess, and in that sense of wisdom. So you got wisdom, you got justice, which also is a female sitting on the throne beside, in using a balance. And then you have,
and she's blindfolded.
Justice.
Yeah. Isn't she?
I don't in my deck she's not.
Okay.
But yeah, but but anyway, the thing is that the value of having tarot introduce wisdom into our intellect and intuition is okay. Because I started off with value, because the value of it is that it releases us of a lot of burdens, because when you're stepping into something wisely, you really are unburdened by your decisions or your choices. Even if I walked into this wisely, but daggone, what a mess! What a mess! But then you still have the surety that it's going to work out right. It's just a mess right now.
Exactly.
But in the long run, this was the wise decision. This was the better space. This is the more precise way to go about doing it. Whatever the situation is. So yeah, those are the things that why I would think that she uses the High Priestess as this
the tarot,
for that tarot
representing
card. And I would just
representing the third eye.
And I would just also include the Hermit as well.
The Hermit, yeah. Okay. Thank you for that.
Thank you. And we'll be talking about all that tomorrow. Preview.
And I want to talk to you about something after we get done with this session too. Essential oils and herbs to help us heal as far as the third eye is concerned, or to help keep it in balance. Betel leaf. It raises betel, betel.
I've never heard of that.
Neither have I. Raises energy frequency. Blue lotus. Blue Lotus.
Yeah. How do you spell it again?
Betel.
That's okay.
Blue Lotus
Mm-hmm.
softens and relaxes the central nervous system. Cypress is good for wisdom and intuition. Eye bright, mental clarity, and it enhances the vision, both physical and mental. Juniper, purification and protection from evil spirits. Mandrake root enhances intuition. Mugwort facilitates deep states of meditation and powerful prophetic visions. Opopanox.
Can you spell
That's
that?
Opoponax.
Opoponax.
Yes.
Okay, I've never heard of that one either.
Neither have I. Protection and transmutation. I just wrote down what was listed in the book that I used, which is The Ultimate Guide to Chakras, and the author is Athena Paracas.
The Ultimate Guide. And Athena?
Yeah, Athena Perrakis. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So those were the herbs, right?
Yeah, those are the herbs. And did I?
You never mentioned the essential oils yet.
Those are all that were listed in her.
Herbs slash essential oils. Okay.
Yeah, herbs. It says essential oils and herbs. So that's how she titled that particular section of her work. Now I'm going to give you some affirmations. It's only 1, 2, 3, 4 affirmations to help balance the third eye chakra. The first one, I see my life's purpose clearly. Next, I am connected to the spiritual world.
Yeah, I see my life purpose.
Life's purpose clearly. And that's LIFE''S.
And then there's an I am statement?
Yep.
Okay, because I thought all I ams had to do with the root chakra. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
No, the first one is I see my life's purpose.
Right, and the second one is I am.
I am connected to the spiritual world.
Okay.
I am open to the truths of the universe. And I love this last one. Ready? I am committed to the divine within. And I feel, for me anyway, I feel like that last one is one that I have to consciously work on constantly.
Yeah, just as a reminder. Yeah. Yeah. That's the big reminder, because that's that point where separation comes in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and next I have questions for self-examination. In other words, perhaps journal joggers, shall we say. For, first question, what beliefs do you have that cause you to interpret the action of others in a negative way?
What beliefs do I have that
Cause you to interpret the action of others in a negative way?
Judgment. Judgment.
Yeah.
Just judging them who I think that they are, and is always based on something that has to do with me.
Exactly.
My first things were if if it was me,
Right.
So whenever I say that or whenever I hear that, I always know, okay, well, this is a judgment coming. If I was you, well, you're not me. So
exactly.
and I think that, when we are believing that we can direct somebody else's life based on what we think that they should be doing, and if they did that, and if they did exactly that, would we say that now they were right? And if they did exactly that and they still messed up, would it still be, whose fault would it be?
That's why when people ask me for advice, I said, this is what I would do, but you do what you need to do for yourself. Because you ain't gonna blame me if you screw up. That's a lesson I learned quite a while ago. Yeah.
But I do find myself doing that less and less.
Thank you. I'm realizing that about myself as well, because now when I see people and I know that there's something amiss with them, and I'm not going to say wrong, but there's just something not in alignment with them, I just offer my gratitude that I'm not in that position, and ask the divine spirit to help them rise above whatever it is that they're going through at the time. And I mean, I still, when I look at a person and I see something amiss, I'm, for a moment there, the judgment will come in, but then I'm finding myself not staying in that judgment mode and more or less asking for blessings and giving gratitude as opposed to judging. And I can see people, I think, in a more loving manner when I do that.
Yeah. And the thing that I have been working on for several years now is seeing everybody as Christ, including myself.
Exactly.
So, where's the Christ in this person?
Exactly.
That's what I need to be, looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? Trying to deal with.
Right.
Having a conversation with, or connecting with the Christ within them, and not okay. We just had kind of had a little, after the storm too, had a little power blip, so I didn't miss it. Didn't lose anybody, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that I think that where I have grown throughout my spiritual seeking, my spiritual growth.
Right.
And
it you don't see the growth but as time progresses, you begin to see the changes or the improvements that you have made in yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you might not, there might be a change and there are minuscule changes from one day to the next, from 1 minute to the next. But with the progression of time, we see it better, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah. And all it came for me is when I, over 30 some odd years ago, just decided to step away from organized religion. And, keep the things in it that work for me.
Exactly.
And investigated the things that at the time wasn't working for me. And I wanted to know, why is this thing not working for me?
Right.
And is it true for me still? Or things that I haven't held on to. So yeah, but I think that, to answer that question, judgment was a big thing.
Yes.
No,
yes.
Was a big
yes.
thing.
Yes. And the Bible tells us, judge not lest you be judged.
But we were taught how to judge.
You're
definitely taught how to judge,
Exactly.
From the pulpit.
Yes, we were. Because the church that I attended when I was growing up, the minister that was there, he came there, I think, when I don't even remember I was too young to even remember.
Right.
When he started as the minister of the church. And he had this thing, and if a girl became pregnant and she wasn't married, she was kicked out of the church.
Yeah.
And that, and that bothered me even when I wasn't old enough to understand.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it bothered me. And the irony of the whole thing is he only had one daughter. And guess what?
She got pregnant.
Exactly.
Of course, because that's how it goes. Oh, yeah.
And in talking to a member of the family recently, not his daughter, but in talking to another member of the family, I got the impression that it bothered him.
Of course.
It really bothered him.
And he loved that grandbaby too.
Hey, he and his wife raised that child. They raised her because their mother was in school trying to get an education so she could give her and her child a better life.
And live up to their standards. But what when you watch them too much, you don't give them any kind of freedom.
Exactly.
Children, people, just people,
and they go wild, and they go wild when they have a chance.
Yeah, because they don't. Now we got some freedom. It's what was that land that Pinocchio went to? Pleasure Island.
I don't remember.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay, next question. What negative behavioral patterns continually surface in your relationship with others? What negative behavioral patterns continually surface in your relationship with others?
I don't know. That one's kind of a little bit difficult for me because, maybe because, I'm just looking from my vantage point because, of course, I'm perfect.
Right.
So I have never had anything negative, that came from my side that I can think of. But so I guess I might need to have, and this is something that I do try to do. I do try to ask people, what is it about me that
irritates you?
Or do you if you didn't know me, would you recognize me as a Christian? You know,
Right.
would you, if you didn't know me, would you recognize me as a loving person? Or, you know, what is it about me? Because, you know, most of the time I know that I can't see. And then when I do find out stuff, you know, it's very hurtful.
Yeah,
It's
it
very hurtful.
is.
Sometimes I don't even know how they came up with that conclusion because I still can't see it.
Exactly. It's like, am I really that way?
Yeah.
Am I really like that?
You know, the thing on there on TikTok is, you know, am I the asshole? That's the, you know,
Yeah.
you know, but that's a good question because, you know, if I don't recognize this thing within myself, and you know, and so this happened to me
Don't
about a
we
year or
all
so.
think we're perfect?
Yeah, this happened to me not too long ago, about a year or so ago, and um, somebody had, you know, that was very close to me, told me how I had disappointed them or had hurt them, and to me, wow, I didn't even know that this had happened. And you know, and if it had happened 5 years ago, why am I just finding out about this now? You know, so you've been harboring this hatred to me, you know, or
Right.
this anger toward me all of this time, and we still talk because we're family.
Right.
You know, but you know, so you know, I can't mend this. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Why hold on a second.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so that's my thing, is that if, you know, if I'm trying to correct, and you know that I want to correct,
Tell me
um
about it.
tell me about it. You know, and if, you know, so I don't know who's, you know, I don't know, you know, am I fake? Am I being fake, or are you being fake? You know, so, you know, and they say, you know, well, you know, why did you say, you know, if it happens next time? Because I didn't know it happened this time,
Exactly.
you know, and so I do try. So, you know, and sometimes, you know, and sometimes I do bring it up, and, you know, have I done anything else offensive? And they say no, but do I just believe that?
Right.
You know, or they
Right.
just trying to be kind because they don't want the
Hurt your
confrontation.
feelings. Yeah.
So I don't know. So, but
Yeah.
yeah. So what about you?
Um, it's the same thing. Um, I I have always not well, I don't I won't say always, but as long as I can remember, I have been, even though it's hurtful, because it does hurt when somebody's, tells you that, you're not that perfect person you believe you are. But I have tried to be open to criticism, because I feel like if somebody criticizes me, and if they criticize me with love, they're doing it for my own good. They're doing it so that I can be a better person, you know? And sometimes it all depends. Now, and a lot of times it depends on the source.
Yeah.
Because if it's a good friend, I know they're doing it out of love. If it's somebody that I don't particularly like, or that has shown some animosity towards them, it's hurt. It hurts. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it hurts? It don't hurt. Somebody that you don't particularly care for.
Right. It hurts, but I don't take it to heart.
See, it don't even hurt me. I think they lying. We can have it out right here. It don't. We can settle this right here and right now.
Or if it's somebody that I don't know that well.
Oh yeah.
Again.
Yeah, we can have it out right here. Yeah, we can take this outside.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Meet me out
We can
back.
take it outside.
Yeah, meet me out back. I'll let you know. Oh man.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Okay. Next question. Oh me. What attitude what attitudes do you have that disempower you?
Woo. What attitudes do I have?
Attitudes.
God, that disempower me.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. See, this is going to fit right in with what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. So this is a good class today. One of the things I think that an attitude that disempowers me is that, I haven't always had that much confidence in myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I could chalk it up to a lot of things, being an only child, not really having that support system. Like, we traveled a lot. So, I'm always that new person, and I'm always kind of different. So, I don't know. And I know that
and you want to be accepted.
And I wanted to be accepted, but then again, I know that, I can't take it outside with you because you got your crew with you and I'm by myself. So I haven't always had, and then, then there's a part of being a little Black girl. And see, I never I was always integrated.
Okay.
So I never had that support system of being all Black. I always went to an integrated school, so so sometimes when I was the smartest one, it was still something wrong with me being the smartest one.
Because you were Black.
Because I was Black, and I knew that because it's me. I'm the only one, and I'm the only one who knows all of this. But it's still something wrong with me that I know it better than everybody else, and it's said in with a lot of subterfuge. But because I might not have a great understanding of things, but I can understand when you're being mean to me, and you're being nasty. And it wasn't always from the children, it was from the adults, and
usually children are more accepting than adults anyway.
No, they're not.
You don't think so?
No, they don't.
No, I think so, because when
I'm only saying that because I went to all white schools.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying it. No, the children are just as
children can be cruel. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. But what I'm saying is children are either on or off. There's no in between with them, especially when they're younger.
Yeah.
As they get older, then they begin to move into that gray zone.
Right.
But younger children, because you can turn around and a 5-year-old can hate you this minute, and the next second they got their arms around you. I love you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Or they can push you over to the other side of the classroom and you can't play with them.
Right. Exactly.
So that's what I'm only telling you my experience.
Right.
So that's why
Well.
Yeah. And
fortunately, no, go ahead.
Yeah, and so some of those things, some things like that had caused me to not be sure of myself as I grew older. So I have this hard exterior, but I'm real, kind of soft and squishy on the inside.
Right.
So
I'm there with you.
Yeah, so I think that, you know, questions like this, where you do have to see what is this attitude that I have that holds me back from success. And you
Mhm.
know, because you know, one of my main things is procrastination, like you know.
Yes,
Um, and so that's some of the things that I do think about. You know, is, you know, this is some of the things that happened to me in my past that I still have memories of, and I have not um, healed from these incidences, you know, or
right.
circumstances, and it has carried through where I am right now. So,
Mhm.
and it's, you know, it's still some more, but that we'll just start off with that one. What about
And
you?
well, um, unlike you, all of my formal years of education were with were, you know, I was in the majority. I was a member of the majority.
Mm-hmm.
But with me being as fair as I was, there were often times when I was discriminated against by my darker classmates
Mm-hmm.
and all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I wanted to be accepted. There's 4 years between my brother and I'm the older of the two of us. And living out in the country, it wasn't like I had, you know, hordes of children around me all the time that I could play with. My next door neighbor, or I should say the family that lived behind us, um, was my grandmother's niece. And was, she and my father were contemporaries. So she had grandchildren my age. So when the grandchildren came to play, I was always so ecstatic. And I remember my mother saying that when I would get with other children, she said I would just scream and scream and scream because I was so happy, so glad to have others around me. And
Mm-hmm.
then, of course, being isolated in that way, um, I was always wanting to be accepted, and I did not always feel like I was being accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that uh, insecurity of you know, I guess you could call it an insecurity of not always feeling like I was a part of something, and I wanted to be, and I was always doing things to make sure I please everybody, dismissing
Mm-hmm.
myself as far as, you know, being pleasing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't begrudge, because I think about a cousin of mine. We had a conversation a few years ago, and he was kind of like you. His father was military, and they moved around a lot. And when I listened to his story, I was able to, I was old enough to be able to look at the advantages of my life and his life at the same time and not really be envious, because I like going places,
Mm-hmm.
always have. And whenever my mom or dad said I'm going someplace, I was ready to put on my coat and follow them. I didn't care where they were going. Even if they were, didn't matter where they were going, I wanted to go because I just wanted to go. But um, when I think about that, I lived and grew up around both sets of grandparents. So I knew all of my cousins
Mm-hmm.
on both sides of the family, even though on my father's side of the family, my first cousin's children were my contemporaries as far as age was concerned. On my mother's side, there was 10 of us grandchildren, and we were all within, I would say, well, the oldest one was 5 years, 4 or 5 years older than me. And the youngest one was I would say maybe 10 years or so younger than me, but we were like sisters and brothers. Because even though their parents lived away, they came to see their mom and dad. So I got to know all of my cousins.
Right.
My first cousins on my mother's side, and I knew all of my second cousins on my father's side because they were my contemporaries. So, and with that, I saw the advantage of knowing the family.
Yeah.
My cousin that I was talking to, like I said, his father was military, so they moved around. And he said to me in our conversation, he said, no, I think it was 5 of them. And no one of them was born in the same geographic location. So they had what I would call the luxury of traveling. And I think about one of my coworkers at Colonial Williamsburg. And I think about his children and the advantage that they have, even though he was born and raised in Williamsburg. But he and his wife decided he left a job in Williamsburg where he was a master craftsman. He left his job at Colonial Williamsburg not too long after making master craftsman or being graduated to a master craftsman. He left Colonial Williamsburg and they decided to become missionaries. And they have traveled in South America, Central America, lived in these places for a while. And I think about the advantages of their children and the experiences that they have had that they can carry forth with them as they, get older. So, and I'm not envious. Yeah, maybe a little. But what I'm thinking, there are advantages and disadvantages in everything.
Oh, yeah.
And if you try to look at, be grateful for what life has dealt you and be grateful for it and share those advantages that are worth sharing to enhance somebody else's life, they too will share with you the advantages that they have and the things that they're grateful for to enrich your life. So,
And these are the things that form the ego, that help to form the ego. And, it really makes a difference how, how we perceive a thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, and what was the question again?
What attitudes do you have that disempower you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the next one is kind of along the same line. What beliefs do you continue to accept that you now know are not true?
Beliefs that I still accept that I know that are not true.
I don't think I have any, really.
Yeah.
Because
I can't think
because I mean, we're curious. We question things.
Yeah.
So we look at things and if we don't accept it, or if it ruffles our feathers a little bit, we tend to try to find the answer. So I don't think I have any, really. What about you?
Yeah, I'm thinking on that question because can you repeat the question again?
What beliefs do you continue to accept that you know are not true?
Yeah, I don't think that I continue to accept anything that I know is not true.
Right.
Not accept it. I might have to live with it.
Yeah.
So it might look like acceptance.
It's not.
But it's not. So, yeah.
And I think that kind of comes under, how do I want to phrase this? It comes under those things that we have been taught and programmed for so long that we find ourselves slipping into that I believe attitude when in fact we really don't. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, because I'm just trying to think of one thing that I believe that I would continue to do. Because And I was having a conversation with somebody not too long ago, you know, a very traditional Christian person. And sometimes, you know, it all accounts to, you know, it all accounts to, you know, if I know that, if I want to have this conversation.
Right,
you know, because I know that I know that I cannot talk about my stuff. Or and see, that might be my belief. I might believe that I can't talk about my stuff. So because
you mean talk about yourself to a particular
my
individual?
sense of spirituality. My sense of spirituality, you know.
Okay.
I always kind of code switch so that I'm speaking a language that they would understand in Christian terms, as opposed to just being, you know, I don't believe that no more. And some people I do say that too, because some people I know that I have said that too, and it does shut down the conversation. Because if I say that I don't believe like that anymore, especially, you know, where God is this man that lives in the sky, that's a big thing for me. That usually ends a conversation. So I guess to answer that question,
either ends the conversation or starts an argument.
No, it usually ends the conversation.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't even start an argument, you know, because in my experience.
Oh, okay.
You know, in my experience, it doesn't really start an argument because, first of all, you know, what am I going to do? What, you can't make me believe that God is a man anymore, and I'm not going to try to stop you from believing that God is a man.
Exactly.
You know? So, but so I guess the answer to that is that that's the thing that I do, that I believe, that, you know, that I don't. You know, what's the question is, what's the thing that I do?
What beliefs do you continue to accept that you know are not true?
Say that again?
What beliefs do you continue to accept that you know are not true?
Yeah. I think that would be it. Yeah, I think I continue to believe that if I talk about things in metaphysical terms, that it would disrupt or end a conversation, or start, or like you say, start an argument, or put somebody off, or make them stop being a friend, because that has happened. That has happened, you know. So I guess that is the thing that I believe. Now I will say that within this last year of being 65, I am I am more vocal in, I mean, I don't just, you know, walk around and say, you know, God ain't no man. You know, he ain't no such thing as no man in the sky called God. You know, I don't step into a conversation like that.
Right.
But if the conversation leans toward that, I am more bold to say that I don't believe that anymore.
Right.
And I haven't always been that bold. Because I know I have always known that, okay, there's a language, there's a word for this, there's some language for this, and I understand that just because I don't believe it, I don't want to challenge their faith.
Exactly.
But now I say, yeah, you know, because it shouldn't challenge their faith.
Right. It should open them up. But there are some that are so, for lack of a better word, anal, that they don't want to hear anything else. Like, and I think I've mentioned this before in one of our conversations. I was attending Bible study, and there was this one individual, and he was one of the leaders of the Bible study class. He didn't want to hear anything unless it came from the King James Bible. And very often Christians will use in describing the Bible as the word of God.
Yes.
And to me, you know, and because I have heard it so often over my lifetime, that I I've gotten to the point now that I don't need to remind myself, but I had to constantly, when I begin to see things for what they are and see the truth about things, I had to constantly remind myself, that's not the word of God. That's the word of man inspired by God.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm with you. When I encounter somebody that is so anal like that, it's you either have a conversation with them or you just walk away, or you don't say anything. You let them go on, and then yeah, okay.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. You don't agree or disagree.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so so I guess that, if I think that would be the main thing, is that, the things that I believe now,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be more vocal in.
Right. And be brave enough to express your views when asked.
Yeah. I mean, but I talk about God all
Now,
the time.
exactly.
And like just like now, I just slipped in the word God because I do. I mean, that's not a big deal for me. But I know that for some people, even in our circles, just the word God it can be an issue. And if I, and I know that if I'm talking to, people in in a traditional religious background, when I say God, I know that they're talking about the man in the sky. And that's not who I'm talking about. I'm really talking about science for real.
Exactly.
But I think that I this is one of the things that I feel that I am becoming more vocal about. And I think that this group
and brave enough to express it without having any kind of trepidations about the feedback or the negative feedback.
About now.
Exactly.
This is what this is I don't have any. There's no curiosity. There's no doubt in my thinking anymore.
Exactly.
And this is one of the things that I think that this group has helped me with, is that now when I'm saying these things, yeah, I know that you think that that's what I'm talking about, but if given the chance, then I can really tell you what I'm really talking about.
Exactly.
And and I have the language to go along with it, where I haven't always had the language. I remember not too long ago, well, a couple of years ago now, me and a friend of mine, we were, he just could not understand the term spirit. And although I was explaining spirit the best way that I could, my information still was very limited, because and then a part of it was he just didn't want to hear what I had to say. But even that, even then, I'm still trying to explain my concept, and he was just going back around and around and around and around until okay, what are we talking about now? Do you really want us to have a real life conversation, or you just want to be right? Because I can, if you want to be right, you can be right. You can be right, I don't have a problem with you being right.
Right in your eyes.
You can't make me believe what you want me to believe, because I don't think that you're right. And so that was part of the but now that we have this group and we're able to talk about different things without having a feeling of being betraying or being a heretic or anything like that. I am free to discuss. I can I have a broader view. I have a broader vocabulary.
Exactly. And it's so liberating.
Yeah.
So liberating.
So that was a good question. Thank you.
Next one. Are you judgmental? If so, what situations or relationships tend to bring out that tendency in you? I don't don't think I'm as judgmental as I once was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm not judgmental, because I know there are situations that when I see something or I hear something, I jump to a conclusion. But then very often when I do jump to that conclusion, I question myself as to why I feel that way. So, like I said, I don't think we will ever, I may be wrong, but I don't think any of us, as long as we're on this planet, I don't think we'll ever be free of being judgmental, but we are more discerning, I guess is the best word. Mm-hmm. When you look at it in being judgmental, and we're also better able to look at situations, and when we realize we are being judgmental, reason as you know, discover the reason as to why we feel that way, and if it's wrong, because sometimes being judgmental is not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh no! And you know, that's one of the things that I think about. You know, is it really judgment? Is it judgment or is it observation? You know,
Mm-hmm.
am I just observing a situation and seeing it as it is? And because you know we have been so used to things calling something judgment,
mm-hmm.
You know that's not really, it's not really judgment. It's just an observation, or you know, and I often do question,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if because I really think about, I don't think that some judgmental on anything is me. I'm still more harmful and hurtful to myself than I am to anybody else.
Somebody else, yeah.
You know, so that's something that I'm trying to heal from as well.
Right, right, yeah.
But I just let you know it's 3:40, 3:49.
Oh, okay.
So do you want to do another question and then have your meditation, or how do you want to do that?
Let's do one more question.
Okay.
Do you give yourself excuses for behaving in negative ways? I think with me, when I feel like that what I have done is negative, it makes me stop and think about, you know, what I have said or done. And if I feel like I've been offensive to someone in particular, apologize and ask for forgiveness and move on. Mm-hmm. I think, and that's the only way I can.
Mm-hmm. I guess with me, like I said, I'm more hard on myself. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I do make excuses from stuff that I don't like. If I don't, you know, I know my plan was to get up and well, I don't scrub the floors anymore because it's just hurtful. But if my plan was to get up and clean up the house, and I said I was going to get this one room clean, or I was going to clean out all the closets, sometimes I do make excuses that tell me that, okay, this, you know, and I know it was a negative thing. I know that this, you know, it really needs to get cleaned out because it's gross in there. Mm-hmm. And I knew I said I was going to do it, and now I'm making an excuse of why I'm not going to do it. And instead of just me being honest and just simply saying,
I don't want to do it.
Well, I do say that part. But, you know, there's no.
I don't feel like doing it.
There's no sense of me giving myself a time limit. Why am I giving myself a time limit? But you know, those who, you know, and like I say, you know, I try not to be negative with other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
Sometimes
if I
people
do,
won't let you.
you know, if I am negative with other people, I will usually, you know, allow myself to take the brunt of the pain as
Right.
opposed to the other person.
Right.
And that's something I need to stop doing too, because that's not helping them grow. If I'm
Exactly.
not showing them, if I'm not allowing, you know, the mirror to, you know, put up a mirror so that they can see how mean and nasty they are to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just always taking their blows, then that's not helpful to them.
Exactly.
It's you know, they're not going to be able to grow in higher consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. What was that question again? Oh, the negative thing. Think about
Yeah.
negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, since it is what, 3:52? Oh my goodness. I didn't realize it was that late. We'll leave the rest of the questions for later. If that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Another
I
time.
can even add some tomorrow, because tomorrow we're gonna be working in our tarot, but we're gonna be working on the shadow side.
Oh, okay.
All of these questions are questions that, you know, that we can begin to look at, because our shadow
Right.
side is so important.
Well, would you like me to send you a copy of them in an email?
Oh yeah, sure, that would be great.
Okay. So I can send them all. I'll send you the whole list, because it's 10 of them all together.
Okay.
And I can and don't let me forget.
Oh.
I'll try. Let me write that down. Let me write that down, because that way at least I have something to jog my memory. Did you want to do the meditation now, or
Yeah, let's
leave
do the
that for like the leave
you
that?
want it? Yeah, I was going to think we do the meditation now, and then we can do the I can do the commercial first, and then we do the meditation for the end. How about that?
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, so we can do the round table now, and the meditation. We say the meditation for the very end.
Yeah, we can
like
do that.
Pray out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what round table? What did you get from today's class, and how can you apply it to your life?
Well, for me, today's class was just how do I want to phrase this? It's just another step up the ladder in my growth and in what I consider my healing. And I just want to continue that path. And like I said, I want to talk with you after we finish this session, because I have an idea.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we're I was looking forward. I always look forward to the chakra class. Because this is that whole way of helping me heal. This morning when I was doing my meditation, I did meditate on my third eye, and I could feel it. I said, "Oh, wow. I'm feeling. I could feel my third eye." I thought that was really, really spectacular, because it wasn't anything I was expecting, but it happened nonetheless. So I just want you to know that your having these classes are very inspiring and helpful, and they are making me at least a better person. I feel they're making me evaluate my choices. It's helping me to see how I am able to heal not only physically but emotionally as well.
Spiritually.
Well, emotional. I think I think my spirit is fine. I always think that. I think my spirit don't have a problem. It's just my body and my emotions and my attitudes toward my mental capacity toward anything that I'm doing. So these chakra classes especially help me, especially with the physical aspect of self. So yeah, and so so this is one of the things that I'm incorporating in my yoga practice, because I'm going back to practicing yoga.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I'm going, and now that I understand and I'm not afraid to do my yoga and have yoga as a practice.
Right, right. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so this really fits in with that with that philosophy. So thank you.
Great, great.
Okay, so tomorrow we're going to work on tarot. We're going to use the cards from 0 to 15. So from the Fool to the Devil. We'll be working with the swords, because last month I started with swords because we were working with the throat chakra. So I use the swords as a gateway, but tomorrow I'll just continue and we'll start with pentacles, because that's that that's that baseline of the physical body.
Right.
So tomorrow we'll be working from the major arcane from 0 to 15, and the two suits are swords and pentacles. So you can pull those things out of your deck, put the rest of the deck away, and when we do our reading, we will only be reading from the cards that we are working on.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And so that's it. No, let's see what else I guess. So Wednesdays we have A Course in Miracles from 5 to 6:30. Thursdays we have I Am session from 11 to 12. And then we have from 7 to 8:30 the book Flight, which is I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. Next Saturday we have Fazion. Not so loud. Goodness gracious. So next Saturday we have the third Saturday, which is the book of Enoch. And that Sunday, the following Sunday after that is Science of Mind. And then on the 30th, we will be having our time session where we're going to all kind of get together. This is reunite, get to see everybody in person. And we will be watching the movie What Dreams May Come.
Right.
Yeah, and I do remember that has Robin Williams and Cuba Gooding Jr. in it, and I can't think of anybody else who's in there.
I don't think I've seen that. I don't recall. But anyway.
Yeah, well, I saw it a long time. It's a good movie.
Okay.
Okay, well then that's it. And whenever you're ready to start, just let me know.
Okay. I am ready if you are. And so it is.
And so it is. That went by quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. Love you.
Love
Bye.
you all. Bye.